Good afternoon, everyone. We are in the middle of the transformation. That means we are about to complete Unit 2. So, in the previous class, we have discussed how to solve the difference equations using jet transforms. We have seen how to solve the difference equations using the jet transform. We have seen the expansion table, how the initial conditions are going to be integrated in the jet transform, and after that we have seen number of problems. We have solved number of problems. So after that we have also seen the problems regarding to initial conditions also. Whenever the initial conditions are going to be given in the equation, how we are supposed to apply the jet transformation and supposed to substitute the values of initial conditions in the problems. Okay, so these problems are very very important. Why? Because these problems are asked repeatedly in your previous university question papers. These papers are asked repeatedly. Okay, so next we are going for the last topic of this unit, and this last topic will be completed within 2 to 3 classes. Okay, so we are in the last topic of the second unit, that is pulse transformation. The topic is pulse transfer function. Okay, so we are about to start the last topic of the unit 2, that is pulse transfer function. So while solving the previous problems, that is the problems regarding to the difference equation, we have seen a statement, that is to determine the jet transfer function. To determine the jet transfer function. Okay. So in some of the cases, the pulse transfer function is also called as the jet transfer function. Pulse transfer function is also called as the jet transfer function. Okay. It is nothing but while discussing about the definition of the pulse transform, you must be very easy to understand. Okay. So let us step into the definition of the pulse transfer function. That is, pulse transfer function is defined as the ratio of jet transform output of the system to the jet transform input of the system, provided all initial conditions are zero. Okay? So this is the definition of the pulse transfer function. In the definition itself, we are able to observe that it is nothing but the ratio of output of a system to the input of a system. That is nothing but just taking the ratio is not the pulse transfer function. We are going to apply the jet transfer function, sorry, the jet transfer for the input function and output function, and later on we are going to frame the ratio of output of the system to the input of the system is going to yield the pulse transfer function. But we have to see the initial conditions for the system must be zero. Must be zero. That means for every system, for any kind of system, without initial conditions is given, so that the jet transform of the output of the system to the input of the system is simply called as the jet transfer function or pulse transfer function. In most of the cases, they will ask only to determine about the pulse transfer function. Okay, so this pulse transfer function is only applicable only when the initial conditions are zero. When the initial conditions are zero. Okay, mainly this pulse transfer function is used for analyzing the stability and performance of the digital control system. Okay, this pulse transfer function is mainly used to analyze the stability and as well as the performance of the digital control system. To determine the stability and to analyze the performance of the digital control system, this pulse transfer function is used. Okay, so let us frame the equation for the pulse transfer function. Pulse transfer. So for that one, let us suppose h of k is the impulse response of a linear discrete system. Let us suppose h of k is the impulse response of the linear discrete system. Therefore, therefore, the jet transform of the impulse function h of k is nothing but z of h of k is equal to h of z. That means the jet transform of a discrete system h of k is nothing but h of z. H of z. Therefore, therefore, this h of z is going to be assumed as the pulsar transfer function or jet transfer function. Okay, so it is going to be taken as the ratio of of c of z divided by r of z. C of z divided by r of z. What is c of z and what is r of z? C of z, C of z is nothing but the jet transform of the output of the system. Jet transform of the output of the system. Okay? That means the output of the system is initially C of k. Whenever we are applying the jet transform to the C of k, it is going to be converted from C of k to the C of z. And similarly, this R of z is nothing but the jet transform of the input of the system. That means R of k is the input of the system. When we are going to apply the jet transform, this R of k is going to be converted into R of z. R of z. Therefore, therefore, this pulse transfer function, which is going to be represented or denoted as h of z, is equal to simply the ratio of c of z divided by r of h of z is equal to the ratio of c of z divided by r of z. That means the jet transform output of the system to the jet transform input of the system is nothing but called as the pulse transfer function. Here we have to make a note that all the initial conditions of the system must be assumed as 0. Okay, so this is about the basic definition and equation regarding to the pulse transfer function. So later on, we are going to move for the next topic in the pulse transfer function is discrete data system with cascaded elements separated by a sampler. Discrete data system with cascaded elements separated by a sampler. These are the subtopics of the pulse transfer function. Okay, in our previous university question papers, one essay question will be given from this pulse transfer function itself, whether it may be a problem or a theory question. It will be sure. One essay question will be given in our university examination depending upon the pulse transfer function regarding unit 2. Okay, so try to concentrate on this particular topics. So the next subtopic of the pulse transfer function is discrete data system with cascaded elements separated by a sampler. That means we are going to frame the pulse transfer function h of z for different kinds of discrete data systems. Previously we have seen what is going to be the pulse transfer function. Now we are going to determine or derive the expression for the pulse transfer function for different discrete data systems. For different discrete data systems. So in this one, this discrete data system with cascaded elements separated by a sampler is one kind of the discrete data system. That means two elements are going to be placed in a cascaded position and these two elements are going to be separated by a sampler. Okay, so these kind of systems is also called as the open loop systems. Open loop systems. Okay, so this is the diagram which is going to be represents the cascaded elements, that is nothing but the discrete data systems with cascaded elements separated by a sampler. Okay, so so, so try to observe this G1 object and G2 of S. So the G1 of S and G2 of S are the two elements which are going to be placed in a cascaded position. Which are placed in a cascaded position. Okay, so this G1 of S and G2 of S are the two elements, that is two discrete data systems which are going to be placed in a cascaded position, and these are separated by a sampler. Separated by a sampler. That sampler is called as S2. Is represented by S2. So initially, apart from the S2 sampler, we are able to observe the another sampler, that is S1. This S1 is a sampler which is used as a synchronizing function to the input. Synchronizing function to the input. That means R of t is the input of the system. So in order to synchronize this particular R of t, we are going to place a sampler S1 before the first element. Before the first element. Okay. After the first element, the second element is going to be placed in a cascaded position, and these are going to be separated by a sampler. Sampler. So facilitate, in order to facilitate the jet transform method, in order to facilitate the jet transfer function or jet transform method, a sampler S3 is going to be introduced at the output of the system, as shown in the figure like this. In order to facilitate the jet transform method, a sampler S3 is going to be introduced at the output of the system, that is S3. That is S3. Okay. S1 is a sampler which is used for synchronizing position. S2 is the system which is used to separate the two cascaded system, and S3 is the sampler which is used to facilitate the jet transform method. To facilitate the jet transform method. Okay. So G1 of S and G2 of S are the two discrete data systems, and these are going to be placed in the cascaded position and separated by a sampler S2. So here R of t or R of S is the input which is given as an input to the system. So with the synchronizing of the sampler, it is going to be converted as R star of t, and similarly R of S is converted as R star of S. And the output of the first system is nothing but D of t or D of S. Whenever its D of S is going to be given as an input to the second system through the sampler S2. So due to this passage of the sampler, this D of S is going to be observed to the synchronizing position, and it is going to be converted as D star of S. D star of S. That means the output of the first system is D of S, and the input of the second system is nothing but D star of S. And finally, the output of this particular cascaded elements is nothing but C of S. C of S. So whenever the C of S is given as an input to the sampler, it is going to be converted as C star of S. C star of S. Okay. That means for this we are going to frame the pulse transfer function H of Z is equal to C of Z divided by R of Z. That means we are going to frame the relationship between C of Z and R of Z. Okay. So let us see. Let us see this one. So again, I have placed the diagram here. The transfer relation, that means the transfer function of the first block, that means the output or this first block D of S. Whenever the Z transform is applied for the D of S, it is going to be converted into D of Z. That is equal to G1 of Z into R of Z. That is nothing but the input of the system is R of S. Whenever the Z transform is applied, it is going to be converted into OR object and it is going to be multiplied with G1 object. Therefore, the output of the system, that is the transfer relation of the first block is D object, that is equal to G1 object into R object. R object is the input and it is going to be multiplied with G1 of. Similarly, the output of the second system is nothing but C object. So C object is nothing but this D object is going to be multiplied with G2 of this. D object multiplied with G2 of this. Therefore, the transfer relation or the output of the transfer function, second output is nothing but C object is equal to G2 object into D object. G2 object into D object. So just substitute this particular second equation in first equation. Sorry, this substitute this equation 1 in equation 2. That means just substitute the value of D object in C object. We are going to have C object is equal to G2 object and D object value is G1 object into R. G1 object into R. Okay. Therefore, C object is nothing but just substituted the value of D object in this equation. We are going to get C object is equal to G2 object, that is nothing but G1 object into R object. G1 object into R object. Okay. Therefore, C object is going to be taken as this one. C object is going to be taken as G1 object into G2 object into R object. So finally, we are putting the expression for the two elements which are placed in the cascaded position separated by a sampler S2 is nothing but C object divided by R object is equal to G1 object into G2 object. G1 object into G2 object. Okay, this is nothing but the pulse transfer function of the discrete data systems which are going to be placed in the cascaded position and separated by a sampler. Okay. That is nothing but simply we have derived the expression for the first block. That is the output of the first block is nothing but D of S, it is nothing but R of S into G1 of S. So after applying the Z transform, it is going to be converted as D of Z, that is nothing but R of Z into G1 of Z. And in the similar fashion, the output of the second system is nothing but C of S. So C of S is going to be obtained as the D of S into G2 of S. Applying the Z transform, we are going to get the C of S as C of Z is equal to D of S into G2. So just substituted the value of D of Z in C of Z, we are going to get that C of Z value as G1 of Z into G2 of Z into R. So just taking this R of Z to this one, we are going to get a pulse transfer function of the two systems which are placed in the cascaded position and separated by a sampler S2 is C object divided by R object is equal to G1 object into G2. G1 object into. Okay, this is the pulse transfer function for one type of the discrete data system. One type of the discrete data system. Okay. Next, we are going to move for the another data system, that is discrete data systems with cascaded elements but not separated by a sample. We are going to discuss about the discrete data systems which are placed in the cascaded position, but these two elements are not separated by the sample. So let us see. Here G1 of S and G2 of S. G1 of S and G2 of S are the two discrete data systems. G1 of S and G2 of S are the two discrete data systems which are connected in the cascaded position. And these are not separated by the sampler. Okay. So initially, in order to frame or facilitate the synchronizing function, the sampler S1 is going to be placed before the R. After the input, after the input, and after that we have placed a sampler S2 after the output. After the output, that means this C of S is going to be converted as C star of C star of okay. So this is the data system which is going to be taken to discrete data systems which are connected in a cascaded position, but not separated by a sample. But not separated by a okay. So here, we can frame directly the jet transform of the output. The jet transform of the output. Jet transform of the output is nothing but C of S. Whenever the jet transform is going to be applied for this one, we are going to get C of Z is nothing but jet transform of G1 of S and G2 of S into R of Z. Into R of S. R of S is nothing but the input which is given as a input to the cascaded system. Okay? Therefore, 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 the jet transform of G1 of S and G2 of S is nothing but G1 into G2 of Z. The jet transform of the two elements which are placed in the cascaded position is nothing but G1 into G2 of Z. That is nothing but it is also called as G2 into G1 of Z. But make sure about that this G1 into G2 of Z is not equal to G1 of Z into G2 of Z. It is different. These two are different. These two are going to be seen as a similar one, but these two are different. Okay, so that means generally this G1 of G1 into G2 of Z is not equal to G1 of Z into G2 of Z. Okay, therefore the equation 1 can be written as this equation 1 can be written as that means this is the equation 1. So just substitute the value of Z transform of G1 of S into G2 of S. The Z transform of G1 of S and G2 of S is nothing but G1 into G2 of Z. C of Z is equal to G1 into G2 of Z into okay. That means taking this particular R of Z to this side, R of Z to this side, we are going to get the value of C of Z divided by R of Z is equal to G1 into G2 of G1 into G2 of Z. Okay. So in this way, we are going to frame the pulse transfer function for the two cascaded systems which are not separated by the sampler. Okay. Whenever the two cascaded elements are separated by the sampler, the pulse transfer function is nothing but G1 of Z and G2 of Z. Whereas whenever the two data systems or discrete systems are connected cascaded position and not separated by a sampler, the pulse transfer function of the system is nothing but G1 into G2 of Z. G1 into G2 of okay. So these two discrete data systems are called as the open loop systems. Open loop, that means no feedback path is going to be available. No feedback path is available. Okay, there are no feedback for this particular element. Okay, so next we are going to move for the closed loop systems. Closed loop, closed loop systems. Okay, so what is the main advantage of the closed loop systems? Here, the presence of the feedback path is going to be applicable. Presence of the feedback path is going to be applicable. That means, that means, that means it can be used as a multi-loop system or multi-system. Multi-loop system or multi-system. Why? Because the feedback path is going to be available in closed loop. Okay. So this is the diagram which is going to be represent the closed loop systems. Closed loop systems. So try to observe this one. This G of S is the discrete data system and H of S is also a discrete data system which is connected to the input of the system through a feedback path. Through a feedback path. So this particular entire system is called as a closed loop system. That means this entire system is framed as a closed loop. Is framed as a closed loop. Why? Because this H of s is going to be connected as a feedback path to the input of the system. Here, G of s is a discrete system and H of s is also a discrete system, and R of s is the input of the system which is taken, and E of s is the input which is given as an input to the sampler. E of s is the value which is given as an input to the sampler. So this E of s is going to be converted as E star of s due to the synchronizing coefficient. Synchronizing coefficient. So similarly, the C of s is the output of the system. Okay. So similarly, similarly with the previous two open loop systems, we are going to frame the pulse transfer function for the closed loop systems. Closed loop system. Okay. So as we have discussed, the output of the system is nothing but C of s. That means initially it is nothing but C of t, and the R of t and is nothing but an input. That means the input to the systems here. The input to the two systems is nothing but here. R of t and E of t are the input values, and output values is nothing but C of t. Input values of the systems are R of t and E of t, and the output of the system is nothing but C of. Therefore, this E of s is nothing but, we are going to frame the relationship where E of s is nothing but R of s minus this G of s into H of s. That means this E star of s is going to be multiplied with G of s, and it is going to be multiplied with H of s, and that product is going to be subtracted from R of s. Okay, we are going to frame the relation for the E of s is nothing but E star of s is going to be multiplied with the G of s, and it is going to be multiplied with H of s, and the entire product is subtracted from. Therefore, E of s is equal to R of s minus G of s into H of s into E star of s. And similarly, the C of s is going to be taken as this one. The C of s is just going to be taken as the product of E star of s and G of s. This output of the system C of s is going to be taken as the product of E star of s and G of s. E star of s and sorry. So just substitute the value of E star of s. Substitute the value of, so just substitute the value of this C of s here. Okay. So this one E of s is nothing but R of s has to be subtracted from G of s into H of s into E star of. So output of the system is nothing but C of s. It is nothing but the product of G of s and E star of G of s and E star of s. So just taking the pulse transfer function for this equation 1, that means just synchronizing this equation, we are going to get E star of s is equal to R star of s into G into H star of s into E star of s. That means that means this particular G H star of s is nothing but G of s into H of s conjugate. That is synchronizing. Synchronizing. Okay. So from this equation 3, we are going to get the value of R star of s, that is taking this value to this side. Taking this value to this side. Therefore, E star of s plus G into H star of s into E star of s is equal to R star of. Okay. Therefore, that is nothing but E star of s is finally going to be taken as 1 divided by 1 plus G into H star of s into R star of s. R star of. So applying the Z transform for this one, substitute the values of this particular E star of S in C of S. So just substituting the value of E star of S in C of S, we are going to get the relation, that is C of S is equal to G of S plus divided by 1 plus G into H star of S into R star. G of S divided by 1 plus G into H star of S into R star. Okay, therefore taking the pulse transfer function on both sides of the equation, that is this equation 2, we are going to get C star of S is equal to G star of S into G star of S. Okay, so finally substitute this particular equation 4, that is E star of S, this E star of S in equation 4, we are going to get C star of S is equal to G star of S into R star of S divided by 1 plus G into H star of S. So finally applying the Z transform, we are going to get, that is C of Z divided by R of Z is equal to G of Z divided by 1 plus G into H of Z. 1 plus G into H of Z. That means this G into H of Z is nothing but the Z transform of G of S and H of S. Okay. Once again, I am going to tell that this is the closed loop systems we are going to taken. That is the discrete data systems, closed loop discrete data systems. So this, for this one, we are going to frame the different relationship. That is, from the block diagram, this E of S is going to be taken as the product of E star of S into G of S into H of S, and it is going to be subtracted from R of S. And output of the system is going to be taken as C of S is equal to E star of S into G. E star of S into. Okay. So applying the pulse transfer function for this equation 1, we are going to get E star of S is equal to R star of S minus G into H star of S into E star of S. Okay. So just take this particular value to this side, we are going to get E star of S into 1 plus G into H star of S is equal to R star. That means E star of S is going to be taken as the ratio of 1 divided by 1 plus G into H star of S into R star. So just substitute this value of E star of S in this one. E star of S in this one. We are going to get C of S is equal to G of S divided by 1 plus G into H star of S into R star. So after applying the pulse transfer function for this particular system, this system is going to be converted as C star of S is equal to G star of S divided by 1 plus G into H star of S into R star of S. Okay, so taking this value to this side, we are going to get C star of S divided by R star of S is equal to G star of S divided by 1 plus G into H star of S. So applying the Z transform for this function, we are going to get C of Z divided by R of Z is equal to G of Z divided by 1 plus G into H of Z. C of Z divided by R of Z is equal to G of Z divided by 1 plus G into H of Z. That is, this G into H of Z is nothing but the Z transform of G of S and H of S. G of S and. Okay. So in this way, we are going to frame the pulse transfer function for the closed loop systems. Okay. So in this class, we have discussed the three different data systems, that is two open loop systems and one closed loop system. Two open loop systems and one closed loop system. So in this way, we are going to frame the different data systems. Okay. So while observing the previous university question papers, I have seen develop the pulse transfer function for the open loop system is a one question, and the second question is develop the pulse transfer function for the closed loop system is a second question. These are the two repeated questions which are asked regularly. Okay, so whenever he asked us to derive the pulse transfer function for this closed loop system, we have to derive this particular equation, that is C object divided by R object is equal to G object divided by 1 plus G into H object is the pulse transfer function for the closed loop system, and the pulse transfer function for the open loop systems, that means two different systems, two elements which are going to be connected in the cascaded elements. So the pulse transfer function for this one is G object divided by R object is equal to G1 into G2 object, and the pulse transfer function for the two discrete data systems which are connected in cascaded position and separated by a sampler is nothing but C object divided by R object is equal to G1 object into, okay, these are the open loop systems and this is the, okay. So these are very very important questions which are repeatedly asked in your previous university question papers. Okay, so with this we are going to wind up the class for today. Thank you everyone. Have a nice day.